I start with security methods. When we talk about security, we study about encryption, decryption algorithms. So any security method you follow, it can have one component or other as encryption and decryption technique. Normally, security starts with authentication technique. If you go to ATM machine, you have to authenticate you just first by producing the ATM card. So the first level of authentication is providing the ATM card. Second level of authentication is giving the PIN number. So it is authenticating you by seeing your ATM card, by seeing your PIN number. Nowadays they are introducing OTP also. So three types of authentication, three-step authentication they are providing to ensure that you are the correct user. Why authentication is necessary is in many systems, suppose internet banking or any examination system or any system, whether you are the correct user or not. In the bank transaction, if you are not authenticated properly, a fraudulent user can take your credentials and do unethical transactions. That is why we have to go for stronger authentication techniques. Next, access control. Access control in a database will tell you who can read, who can write, who can in a file system, who can execute the file, and so on. Access control policies are also provided in operating systems, database systems for enhancing security. Privacy policies, you must have your own policies. Privacy policies means you want to leave something to the public, you can have it as a public access. And you can have something as a group member policy. You can have some files as files or data related to your group, and some data it can be related to the public, some data to you privately. In this way, you can enforce security through privacy policies. One-time password, in short form it is OTP. You know the use of OTP. OTP can be used to check whether a person is correctly authenticated or not. So that is also a security method. We use key management techniques. Whenever you have the key, for example, you are buying a software. If you have the key for the software, you can use it. In the library and all, you want to access a paper, research paper, you must log in into the library through password, etc. So if you are not providing the correct key, you will not be allowed to use the system. So key management techniques are one area of security method. Nowadays, the data in the internet is going on increasing. Therefore, intruders are also increasing. The security attacks are increasing. To detect the malicious users and to prevent them, we need intrusion reduction and prevention systems. Next security method is trust management. The nodes must be ensured for trust. Suppose you are communicating with a person, you are transacting, you are having a financial transaction with a person, you will not give money to anybody who wants money. Suppose somebody is willing to get a loan from you, you trust the people means you will give immediately. If you don't trust them, you will not give them immediately. So trust management is also necessary for communication in network. In the information security, we have four important concepts. Confidentiality. Why we are maintaining confidentiality is examination question paper. The question paper should be sent from the question paper setter to the control of examination. In between, it should not be intercepted by a third party. If that third party is intercepting and taking a copy, you are losing the confidentiality. So confidentiality should be ensured in such a way that nobody else can take a copy of what you are sending from the sender to the receiver. Modification, it is dealing with integrity problem. Integrity will tell who can modify. if you are allowing everybody to modify, you are sending a message from you to some receiver. Your message will be intercepted by a hacker. That attacker will change the message. You are sending a greeting message, but he will send a message scolding the person, and by modifying the message, if he is sending non-greeting message, it will be a trouble to you. That is why a modification should be checked through integrity. Authentication, if somebody is sending message, you must be able to authenticate. In the Facebook and all, so many fake IDs are created. You have to authenticate whether it is created by the correct person or not. You can check them through phone, you can check them through mail and so on. Non-repudiation, if somebody is sending a bad content, a content which is not approved, then they will say that I did not send it. But according to non-repudiation, nobody can disown the messages sent by them. These are the major things we have to take into consideration for information security. The security goals are confidentiality, availability, integrity, accountability, and assurance. These can be achieved through proper authentication, authorization. There is a difference between authentication and authorization. Authentication means when you go to the bank, you have to say that you are Mr. So and so. But when you do authorization, you will not be able to go. You will authorize somebody to go to the bank, and the authorized agent will go on behalf of you and collect money and come. So you have to give a proper authorization letter, encryption, decryption, etc. For authentication, your signature will be sufficient. But for authorization, not only your signature, you have to write the contents and tell this is the authorized person. Now let me come to quantum computing. Should have studied about quantum computing for the last how many days it is when it was started?
Days.
This workshop started today only or yesterday?
Monday, sir.
Monday. That means for last 3 days you are in quantum computing. So you may be knowing about quantum computing. Then also, I also talk about that. Quantum computing is a new kind of computing. It is using the same physical rules that atoms follow in order to manipulate information. But in the atomic theory, atoms are either divided into protons, electrons, neutrons for making something. But here we are making the quantums to manipulate the information. Quantum computers will revolutionize artificial intelligence, machine learning, information security, and big data analytics. Nowadays, these are the most important areas. In many colleges, they have started courses on BTech, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and everybody wants to do computer science, information technology. In that also, they want to specialize in artificial intelligence, machine learning. The reason for that is they are able to support in decision making. So, for example, in the information security, they help to do classification of users, whether it is genuine user or malicious user, attacker or anomalous user. Like this classification you can do using artificial intelligence. The challenge with artificial intelligence and machine learning is accuracy. Why you are not getting the required accuracy is we have a large data set. We are not able to process the entire data using the current computers. Therefore, we are taking a subset of that. Using that subset of that also, we are going for 10 cross-fold validation. In the 10 cross-fold validation, you will be dividing the data set. Subset of the data set only you are taking. Suppose you are doing a intrusion detection system. If you have 10 lakh record, you are not trying to train all the 10 lakh record. You are selecting 10,000 record or 1 lakh record like that. In that, you are dividing into 10 folds. Each 1 lakh record if you are taking, there will be 10 folds. Each fold will be consisting of 10,000 record. You will train 9 folds and one fold will be used for testing. Like this you are rotating. Suppose first fold is used for testing, fold number 2 to 10 are used for training, second fold is used for testing, and fold number 1, 3 to 10 are used for training. Like that you are rotating. Finally you are using all the 10 folds at least once in training, at least once in testing, and all the remaining time and 9 times in testing. Like this if you are training. Like that if you are using, you are taking care of all the data sets, but it is a subset of the data set. Why you are taking the subset of the data set is the machine learning algorithms which are doing that are not having time to execute that. They take more time for training due to the slowness of the computers. People are going for cloud computing, MapReduce procedures, parallel computing. Even though with the parallel algorithms, MapReduce algorithms, we are not able to do the work fast due to the limited speed of the computers. We want very fast computers. This is provided by quantum computing. Quantum computers will revolutionize AI. I told even big data analytics. Big data means the data which cannot be captured by the modern computers. The available computers are not able to capture all the data. For example, Facebook, Twitter, like that. So many social networks you are using. Millions of people are adding the data every day. The size of the data is going on increasing. The current computers are not able to take them, analyze them, and store in a computer. Either they are storing as it is and later on analyze it, or they are filtering using some type of filtering techniques, store them, then they do later analysis. But if they are not able to, if they are able to analyze them immediately and store the only the required data, the storage can be reduced, amount of storage can be reduced, unnecessary data can be left, it need not be stored, all that things we can do. So what quantum computers can do for AI is, quantum computers will be able to solve complex problems quickly. We have deep learning algorithms. Machine learning algorithms are taking some time, but the deep learning algorithms are taking much more time than the machine learning algorithm. But they are able to do automatic feature extraction, automatic feature selection, automatic classification. With labeled data they will work, with unlabeled data they will work. They are providing very good results, but they need more time. They can be employed for doing the classification of security attacks, user classification, whether he is a genuine user or malicious user in security classifications. In this way, quantum computers can solve complex problems. The quantum computers will be providing optimized solutions. In graph search algorithm, we have, let us say, in AI we start with the breadth first, depth first, best first, hill climbing, genetic algorithm, A star, AO star, like that. So many graph search algorithms are available. In addition to that, in the data sectors also we have search algorithms like Prim's algorithm, Kruskal's algorithm, like that. We have so many algorithms. But in spite of the availability of so many algorithms, the optimized search is not available so far. That is why we are going for swarm intelligence algorithm. With the swarm intelligence, we are reducing the search space. Earlier, with the Minimax algorithm, we were doing alpha beta cutoff. With the alpha beta cutoff, we were reducing the search space. In this way, some type of optimization were necessary. Quantum computers will be helping to optimize the solutions. Quantum computers will be able to spot patterns in the large data sets. People are going on doing data mining, work in data mining. Why we are going for data mining is, we are looking for patterns. So when we are looking for patterns, it can be done through different data mining tasks. The different data mining tasks are association rule mining, clustering, classification, sequential pattern mining, and so on. When we have very large data set, the patterns can be identified by applying association rule mining. It starts with one item set, two item set, three item set, like that it will be going on, and you will be finding the support and confidence. By finding the support and confidence, you will make decision rules. Using the rules, you will be making inference. By making inference, you will find a pattern. Using the pattern, you will make decisions. One example, attack patterns in the security problems. Some burglary is happening means same type of burglars, they will follow a similar pattern. By following the similarity pattern, you can identify the burglar who did the crime. So for crime detection, you can use. In cricket, you can do the analysis of the batsman, bowlers, etc. So that if they are following the same pattern in bowling or batting, you can find them. In chess playing game, if they are following some pattern, you can find the pattern and change the rules to win the game. Quantum computers could help data integration. When we use databases, we collected data from only single source or minimum number of sources. But when we went to data warehousing, we are collecting data from multiple sources, and we are doing data integration through ETL operations, extract, transform, and load operations. The data transformation, we are transferring to uniform format, and we are cleaning the data by removing null values, etc. After that, it is brought into uniform format through data integration. Data integration is a complex task that can be done very easily using quantum computers. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are very good the tools for performing prediction. How they will predict is, they learn the behavior of the data, behavior from the data. If you are giving the data for the last 10 years regarding rain or climate, based on the past data and the rules governing change today, it will predict a future. So it can do prediction of the future. It can learn new rules. It can provide explanation on the past, why, how it was coming, and it can find the temporal dependencies between the different data fields. Therefore, with the time series analysis, it will be able to do prediction. It might be challenging to tell a computer on what is a cat. You cannot explain the computer about cat, since computers don't have common sense. Humans are having more common sense. To check whether humans are having common sense or computers are having common sense, one experiment was done by AI researchers. They developed a program called the General Problem Solver. It was stored with all the human knowledge, and they asked a query to the General Problem Solver. They expected the General Problem Solver to help the human beings in doing all the day-to-day works, starting from getting up early in the morning, making the owner to getting up in the morning, and our computer or the intelligent general problem solver must assist us in taking bath, by making hot water, providing breakfast, etc. In all the things, it should assist the human being, like that they started. And they wanted to make the general problem solver to have intelligence like human intelligence. They were feeding with all the world knowledge and asked a query, what is the phone number of Shakespeare? When this query was posted to the general problem solver, it was searching through the database and told that no record is found. Since we trained the system, general problem solver, to search the database always, and if it is available, it will answer. Otherwise, it will say no record is found. But the same query was given to a 5th standard child. The child asked, phone number of which Shakespeare you are asking? If it is the phone number of Shakespeare who wrote English dramas, during the time of Shakespeare, there was no telephone, but telephone was not invented. Therefore, your query that what is the phone number of Shakespeare is wrong. This is the answer given by a 5th standard child. She has intelligence, that is common sense. She has common sense, but the general problem solver did not exhibit any common sense. So common sense reasoning must be given to the computers through large training. If you want to do training with a large amount of data set, the current computers are not able to do that. We are restricting the number of rules, number of data, amount of data, training time, everything. But if you go for quantum computers, we expect that it can improve a lot more. Suppose we have a neural network trained with enough images of cat and form rules on how to identify a cat and ask by giving a query image of a cat. You are giving, first you are training with a number of cat images. You are giving a sample cat image and asking whether it is a cat. It will be either it will be doing exact matching or similarity matching. If it is exact matching, if the same photograph is available in the image database, it will say yes, otherwise it will say no. Suppose you are going for similarity matching, it will see the features of the images stored and features of the query image. If they are matching up to a certain threshold, it will say yes, it is a cat. So the computer will be able to correctly identify not only this query image. If you give some other cats also, it will say yes, it is a cat. Even though they did not see the new cats which you are showing in the query, they will say that it is a cat by seeing the features. It appears that some of the most prominent and widely used AI/ML algorithms can be speeded up significantly. Some of the algorithms in AI and ML are classification algorithm, clustering algorithm. Clustering means K means clustering algorithm or C means clustering and so on. Similarly, in the classification, we have Bayesian classification, we have decision trees, random forest, like that. So many classification algorithms. We are developing intrusion reduction systems based on some classification algorithms like Bayesian network are using. We are doing heuristic search algorithms, including genetic algorithms. We perform decision making based on swarm intelligence algorithms, including on colony optimization, PSO, genetic algorithms, etc. Now, the algorithms are becoming slow when we train with the large sample data, but with the quantum computers, you will be able to train fast. In the topics, current topics in the AI are logic. It includes propositional logic, predicate logic. Both propositional logic and predicate logic, they will do reasoning with the complete data only. That means true or false only it will take. It will not take 80% true, 90% true, even 99% true also it will not take. It will say 100% true or 100% false only. Therefore, we are going for error logics like fuzzy logic that will do gradation of truth values and perform reasoning. Some other topics in AI include searching. Genetic algorithm is also doing searching only. Then intelligent agents, handling uncertainty using probabilistic reasoning, and for that we are using Bayesian networks. We use temporal constraint network. These are all able to handle uncertainty more efficiently. We go for swarm intelligence like particle swarm optimization, on-colony optimization, genetic algorithms, and so on. Fish school optimization, gray wolf optimization, like that. So many swarm intelligence techniques are available. The other topic is planning. In the planning, robot planning is more important. Suppose you want to move the robot arm, what type of actions it can perform, how to change from one state to another state, what type of logic they can use is situation logic. Using situation logic, you are doing some planning algorithms. With the planning algorithms, they are able to move the robot arm from one place to another place. We have machine learning algorithm for decision making. After the arrival of internet, natural language processing is a hot topic in AI. Before the arrival of internet, people told that AI is dead. That is why in computer science, First we started with AI as a core, then it went to elective. Once again we brought to core. Now separate courses on AI are available. Separate BTech courses are available on AI. So AI is an important area in computer science and IT. Now AI and ML with quantum computers, artificial intelligence algorithms are dealing with sets of large data sets with huge search spaces. For such algorithms, the people who are working on doing research or making decisions using the algorithms, they even anticipate exponential speedups, but they are not performing well right now. For example, you take graph coloring algorithm in graph theory or algorithms. Pi-color theorem, it was solved very easily. For four-color theorem, the iterative algorithm was taking years together. After that, heuristic search algorithm was developed. It was able to solve the problem, but it is taking a lot amount of time. To reduce the time, you have to reduce the size of the graph. But the size of this graph is growing day by day. Suppose you are having the world map, you are willing to color the world map with 4 different colors in such a way that no two states or no two countries, neighboring states or neighboring countries will have the same color. To do this manually, if you are doing, it may be possible for you to do within hours, but automated system is only necessary since you may be going for a complex problem like this. When you go for a complex problem, manual analysis will be taking time. That is why people went for four-color theorem. The four-color theorem is solved by AI researchers, but it is taking time. Now we believe that quantum computing will make it fast with its real true hardware. When quantum computing and AI collide, so experts are nearing a quantum advantage. Many people are working on developing a quantum machine, and what is expected from a quantum computing is unimaginable computing power, and it must be able to train a CNN algorithm or RNN algorithm, which are used in deep learning, within minutes or within seconds. That is what they are expecting. Developing quantum machine learning algorithm can allow us to solve complex problems, including discrete logarithm problem in security. So, you heard about discrete logarithm problem in security?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It is difficult or easy?
It's difficult, sir. It's difficult to solve it.
Very difficult to solve. The reason is it will be going into exponent. That exponent computation, so many times again and again computation is taking time. They estimated that with a supercomputer, if you try to solve the Diffie-Hellman key exchange algorithm, it takes around 4 to 40 years like that they have taken. But if it is coming, if the analysis is done with quantum computer, the Google quantum computer is claiming that it is 100 times faster than the fastest computer available today. Like that, if they are building a quantum computer which will be hundreds or 1,000 times faster, then instead of years, it may be coming to months. Then if you develop very good quantum algorithms, it may be coming to days, then hours, like that. We will be coming down to minutes. When security was started, people were writing encrypted letters. Initially, Caesar cryptography was there. In the Caesar cryptography, they used a simple formula: C equal to P plus K mod 26. C is ciphertext equal to P plain text plus K. K equal to 3 only was used. That means the key size is only just 3. If you are doing manual operation also, within some hours it is possible, but the people are not trying that much. Even I lost the number for your suitcase. Suppose I am doing brute force analysis on the number, guessing the number. I have to start with the 000, try to open the suitcase. 001, I will try to open the suitcase. 002, like that I will be going on up to 999. So it is possible, but for doing sitting and doing that work, I need time, I need patience. People are not doing even 3-digit number in a suitcase. In such a scenario, when we ask the Caesars, ask somebody to decrypt the Caesar cipher without telling the key, it was difficult for them. Now, after the arrival of computers, cryptanalysis, all the cryptanalysis techniques, they assume that the algorithm is known to the sender as well as receiver, as well as the third party who is the attacker, maybe the attacker. So the algorithm is known. Everybody knows RSA algorithm. Everybody knows elliptic curve cryptography. Everybody knows DSA algorithm or DES algorithm. Any type of security, symmetry key, public key, all algorithms are known. After that, the ciphertext is known. Let us say they know the algorithm, they know the ciphertext, but if they want to decrypt, they want to know the key. To know the key only, they are doing a lot of analysis, and if they know the key, they can decrypt in a second or minute. But if you don't know the key, it takes logarithmic time. That is what the discrete logarithm problem was formed. With the AI, if you want to go for discrete logarithm problem, you can find the patterns. The patterns can be stored in an analogy based as a rule. If you apply the rule, and the rule based approach may reduce the amount of computations, but even with the AI, the cryptanalysis is very difficult. So many people are writing research papers on how to do cryptanalysis using AI. They have taken small sample data only. They are able to do the cryptanalysis, but when they take very large data, their cryptanalysis with AI and machine learning is not able to provide accurate results. That is why discrete logarithm problem is a difficult problem. It cannot be stored by solved by normal computers. When quantum AI comes, it may be becoming easy. That is what we expect. But to enhance the security, we have to go for quantum cryptography, quantum keys, and we have to increase the security by enhancing the key strength, key management schemes you have to propose. But when you know the key, it should decrypt very fast. It should not take more time. Even with the quantum computers also, or normal computers, the time for decryption should be reduced if you know the key. The time for decryption should be more if you don't know the key. To realize the full potential of quantum computing for AI, we need to increase the number of qubits. The qubits will be not only in the 0 and 1 state, it can be in a intermediate state, so that it will be make up the speed. The quantum devices exploit the exploit the strange properties of quantum physics and the quantum mechanics for speeding up the calculations. Classical computers store data in bits, that is either 0 or 1, but quantum computers are using qubits. Therefore, it can exist in two different states simultaneously. It can be in ones as well as zeros. Therefore, it is giving more computational firepower. Now, future of artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Nowadays, the size of the computer is coming down, but the size of quantum computers are right now bigger. When I started doing, when I was putting this, introducing me, purposefully I was putting my first slide as a person who started my work from Bhabha Atomic Research Center. You see the introduction I have put, Dr. A. Kannan, former computer programmer, Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Mumbai, 85 I have put. The reason for that is, in 1981, I joined as a programmer at Bhabha Atomic Research Center. That time only 25 computers were there in India. The cost of computers were in crores. in BARC they purchased a computer for 15 crores. Like this, 25 computers were available in India that time. That time crores of money means it is very much now. In such a scenario, the number of people who were knowing computers were very less. There were no security problems since computers were available within the company only. If there is an attack, it should be only internal attacker only. We can find them very easily. But size of computers are only very big. I worked on mainframe systems. The size of the computer is equivalent to one classroom size. Within the classroom, some computers were kept. The CPUs were very big, and the printers were very big. Even the hard disk was very big. If you want to remove the hard disk, I will call 3 of my friends or 4 of my friends. We all together will change the hard disk since it was very heavy. Sometimes we call some people who can do the weightlifting very much. Like that size it was. Then, but the speed was very less. It was few MIPS, less than 10 MIPS only. The size of the main memory was, it was 256 kilobyte or 2 MB, like that, maximum MB only. The hard disk size also, it was maximum up to 8 MB or 16 MB. If somebody is having kilobytes of data, we used to think, oh, he's handling kilobytes of data, like that we used to think. We were thinking that megabytes of data means that is the equivalent to Himalayas or such a large amount of data. We never thought of gigabyte or petabyte or nanobyte or terabyte, nothing we thought. Now only we are able to see such type of big data. Even though the computer sizes were big, it was handling only kilobytes and megabytes. Later on, mini computers were coming. The size was reduced, but they were able to handle more amount of data, more memory, high speed. Later on, personal computers were coming, the networking computers were coming. Now cloud computing has come. With the arrival of cloud computing, the speed has improved. Now even with a laptop or with a mobile phone, we are able to do the processing. What we were doing with the mainframe computers, the same speed is done with the laptop or palm-top computer. Even a small mobile phone also, we can use it to do the computing. Such a speed has achieved. So what I want to say is the size of the computers are very big.
Good afternoon, Shruti. எனக்கு சிவராமன் அனுப்பிச்சிட்டாரு அந்த இது அதுதான் நோ ப்ராப்ளம் அதுதான் நினைச்சேன் நான் பண்ணேன் ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. நான் ஆக்சுவலி இப்போ மெயினா ஃபோன் பண்ணது நம்ம ஆஷிக் பானு இருக்காங்கல்ல, அவங்க நீங்க ரூம்ல தான் இருக்கீங்களா இங்க எங்க வெளியில இருக்கீங்களா?
Okay. Now I'm coming back to the size of the computer. Size, weight, power consumption and cooling technologies are not favoring the quantum computing. That is why it is not released. But once they are sorted out, it will be released. When I was working in the computer center at the BARC, at least 18 degrees centigrade should be maintained in the computer center for mainframe computer. I was not practiced with the AC. I used to go out and sit for some time, every 1 hour. Then only I will go and sit in the sunlight. Then only I can continue my work. Like that it was. The same thing is happening for quantum computers right now. But in future, the quantum computers must be able to adapt to the current environment so that it can be kept in the normal rooms also. That is what people are trying. The new generation of quantum computing, if it is coming, it will yield advances in artificial intelligence, machine learning, and computer security. So these are the hot field. Now anybody who is doing research, they will be doing in any one of these areas only: artificial intelligence, machine learning, or computer security. In the security, people are working on intrusion reduction, prevention, encryption, decryption, key management, and the security analysis techniques. The data growth is going on for example, in a, suppose you are keeping a video surveillance camera in the traffic, it is continuously collecting videos, and if you are uploading them in a cloud or in the internet, it will be going on increasing the size of the data like that. From Facebook, from Twitter, Pinterest, from all the places, millions of people are adding their data into the internet. The security challenges with the internet are more and more malicious users are coming. They are trying to attack the data. When I was using mainframe computers, I never heard the word called virus, and we used simple passwords. For example, I used to have only a password like AK. Kannan, AK only I will give. Nobody will try to take my data, even though it was for nuclear data storage. So the Baba Atomic Research Center, it is doing very confidential work, and more and more security should be provided for the data. But we were very casual about that. The reason is it was mainframe computer. It was used by only internal users. It cannot be taken by somebody else. That was the advantage. Now it's not internal users. When we work in the internet, so many people from outside are coming. Therefore, they are carrying out a number of malicious activities. Suppose your house is there, only your house people are there. You need not lock the house also. Similarly, in some villages, if there is an understanding, we need not lock the houses. When I was when I was a small boy in the village, we used to lock the house and keep the key on the door of the house. Nobody will take. Since it was a small village, people are known to each other. In the same way, in the mainframe computers, the users were known to each other. Therefore, there was no security problem. Now, after the arrival of internet, after the arrival of cloud, the number of users are increasing. As a result of that, the attacks are also increasing. The malicious activities are increasing. There are two types of attacks. One is active attack, and next is passive attack. Active attack means they will interrupt the service. You can understand very easily. Passive attack means they will steal your valuables. You will not be able to understand very easily. Later on only you will come to know. Then your work is, for example, confidential work or confidential passwords, etc. are stolen. Then you will be coming to know very lately when it is used by somebody else for some other activity. One such activity is attack is DOS attack, denial of service attacks. Denial of service attacks can be carried out in many ways. One is flooding of data packets. Flooding of data packets you are doing means instead of sending one packet, you multiply the malicious user. When he is routing, when the malicious node is routing the data packets, instead of one packet, it will make 1000 packets and send duplicate packets again and again. When the packets are made as multiple packets, then the traffic will increase. After some time, the network will be congested. As a result of that, the people will not be able to get the network service. It becomes a denial of service attack. Like this, a number of type of denial of service attack are there. That is an active attack. Passive attack example is information theft. Suppose you are setting a question paper, secretly you are storing in your computer. If somebody is stealing the question paper and silently making the question paper out, that itself is a serious activity, information theft only. Similarly, financial fraud, these are all happening as passive attacks. Artificial intelligence is employed to detect frauds. It is used to identify the attackers and the malicious users in security applications. Cryptanalysis is done in various forms. What it needs is speed. If you start with CC cryptography, here normal computers are sufficient, and brute force attacks carried with larger size keys, very large prime numbers only we are taking now. For breaking the DES algorithm, there was a challenge, security challenge, when it was used in financial transactions throughout US and UK. It was used for more than 10 years, and there was a security challenge. If anybody is breaking that, they will be rewarded with so much amount of dollars. Then somebody broke that DES algorithm. People moved from DES algorithm to AES. Then AES challenge was there. AES was also broken. People moved from symmetric key algorithms to asymmetric key algorithm. They started with RSA algorithm, Elgamal algorithm, digital signature algorithm, hashing, SAVON algorithm, MD5 algorithm, like that. So many algorithms were formed. When everything was broken, they went to elliptic curve cryptography. With the elliptic curve, some years security was very secure, but the challenges were made on that also. People were able to break the elliptic cryptography also. But people were going on exploring the new algorithm. Some of the techniques used for cryptanalysis are chosen plain text. If you know some plain text, then using that you will be able to know the pattern. Based on that, you will be able to understand. Similarly, alphabet analysis, which alphabet is repeated in English more. Based on that, also you can do. Like this, a number of cryptanalysis techniques are available. But most of the cryptanalysis techniques are running the analysis for hours together, months together, years together. That is why people are doing more and more research on number theory. In the number theory also, they go with modern algebra. For the modern algebra, they may be starting with groups, rings, fields, finite group, similarly finite field like Gauss field, etc. They do modular exponentiation. They applied theorems like unique factorization theorem. They applied Millen-Robinson test, like that, tests for primality testing, Euler's theorem, Fermat's theorem, Chinese remainder theorem. All these number theory based theorems were used for generating large prime, based on large prime numbers, and the similar algorithms are developed for quantum computers. Whatever algorithm you are developing for normal computers or normal cryptography, if you are satisfied with that, it can be broken very easily with quantum computers. So you have to develop quantum version for everything. When you want to develop quantum version for everything, you have to make at least some changes in the algorithm. For that, you can explore the group that is modern algebra once more. Quantum computers can solve the complex problems very quickly. Today, Google has a quantum computer, and they claim that it is 100 million times faster than any other today's. I told that 100 times, not it is 100 times, 100 million times faster than any other computers which are available in the current world. When I was working as a programmer, suppose I am solving a stress analysis program, it will be running for 1 day or 1 week also, since it was involving in the handling of sparse matrices, nth order differential equations, iterative search algorithms like very large simultaneous set of simultaneous equations, parallel algorithms, etc. Therefore, it was taking more amount of time. But if you are translating all the algorithms which are available for the current computer into quantum computers, it will be easy to solve the problems. That is why every researcher in AI or machine learning, they are translating the AI algorithm and the machine learning algorithm into quantum versions. One person published a paper called Quantum K-means clustering algorithm. Another person published a paper called Quantum Neural Network. In this way, for every algorithm available in the machine learning, even Bayesian network, quantum Bayesian network is published. People are working on developing similar algorithms for quantum computing, so that the power of quantum computing can be used for solving the complex problem. The complexity and size of the data sets are growing faster and faster than the computing resources. We developed computers starting from bytes to kilobytes, kilobytes to megabytes, megabytes to gigabytes, terabytes, petabytes, nanobytes, like that. Very large amount of storage, very fast computing. With the cloud, you are doing virtualization, you are borrowing memory, you are borrowing networking, you are borrowing processors. With the elasticity property, you are able to increase the computing power. Then also the data set size is, since the data set is size is growing, you have to pitch a window, and within that window only you are working. You are not able to analyze the full data set when it is generated by the machines. Suppose sensors are generating data, or some computers or some other machines are generating data. The data are coming faster than the speed at which the computers can handle. That is why big data analytics are becoming a challenging. Data sets for security algorithms, image analytics, video analytics, etc. are examples of complex computers, complex algorithms that must be solved only through quantum computers. Today's computers are either struggling or unable to solve security problems. That is why we take more time to analyze the security, solve the security problems. But if it is done with the quantum computing, we expect that it should be done in seconds. In artificial intelligence, what is more interesting is they generate rules and give us the same rules. If it is applied again, we can make inference. Using inference, you will be able to make more efficient decisions. Therefore, with the quantum rules, with the quantum solutions, if you are applying rules, you will be able to do analysis of the past, prediction of the futures. You can perform inference from deductive inference. Means suppose whenever A is true, B is also true. Now A is true means we can infer that now B is also true. This is the simple deductive inference. Starting from this inference, we can go for a complex process of inferencing, and by applying rules. Rules can be in the form of if-then statements, or it can be in the form of even condition action rules. The rules, when you are applying again and again with using a rule chaining, you will be able to make very good decisions. Another way the quantum computing will facilitate the revolution of problem solving, starting with security analysis to finding the best delivery route. Nowadays, very complex problems include security problem, one problem. Another problem is everybody is interested in finding the shortest path. Why shortest path? You are ordering food. Food should come very fast. If it is raining, one route will be with more water. When the route towards which, shortest route towards which people are traveling is filled with water, what is the alternate route? Multipath routing you have to go. In this way, we have to find the shortest routes. Similarly, in the medical diagnosis systems, what is the medical protocol we have to follow to make a best treatment protocol? Doctors are trying with so many treatment methods, so many medicines, so much of history, but how much history you can store? That is the important thing. Suppose you are taking history in terms of medicines written in text format, it can be easy. Suppose you are maintaining history in terms of images, videos, etc. How much of images and videos you will be storing, depending upon the capacity of the computer, you have to restrict that. That is why there is a challenge on building very good computer architecture, which will be able to provide very sophisticated hardware that can analyze the problems. Even handling the security violations in big data can be handled very easily. Such a computers are necessary. Next, people are interested to solve sequential problem in the medical problem, sequence, micro array, or disease detection, etc., are also some sequential problem. Sequential decision making means you take intermediate decision, improve upon that. There will be a utility value. Used on that utility value, improve further. In game playing, we have minimax algorithm. The minimax algorithm, we will be using a utility value, and above that utility value you should not go. But every time you will be using a score, and best score for that level will be also known. If the solution is better than the best score, you will be going for the current solution. Other will be backtracking and go to the previous solution. In this way, a tree-based search technique will be used. In the key management scheme also, if you are making a hierarchical key, the root node will be the node which knows everything. It will be the key distribution center, but the sub level when you go to the leaf nodes, it will be the user level. The user will be knowing only his key, but when it goes to the parent, the group key manager will know the group members details, and that two groups will be managed by a topper group manager. Like that, it will be going up to the root node of the tree. The root node of the tree, overall coordinator will be there. Key will be the key distribution center. The key distribution center will be able to know all the details about all the users. If there is a conflict between two groups, then the key distribution center will come and solve the problem between them. Nowadays, we are using computers for AI for building recommendation systems, secured bank transactions, etc., which need better decisions. How better decisions are necessary is they have to provide better security, fast performance, better security, then less error rate, etc. Reliability. All these things can be achieved only through quantum computers. Quantum computers will be able to spot patterns in large data sets. I told in intrusion detection systems, either you can build an intrusion detection as a host-based intrusion detection system or network-based intrusion detection system. In the host-based intrusion detection system, IDS is kept in the every node of the network. If it is network-based intrusion detection system, in the server you can keep the intrusion detection. In that also, the patterns can be identified either using anomalies, that is the signature matching, anomaly-based and misuse-based intrusion detection systems are available. In the anomaly-based, the patterns are looking different. One day, when I was a resident counselor in 4th block hostel of Anna University, one old student came to stay in his friend's house, friend's room, but the watchman could not identify him, and he thought that he is a stranger. And when he was coming in the main gate itself, the watchman stopped, but he ran away without showing ID card or anything. Since he was not having an ID card, he did not explain also. People were coming, rushing behind him. He went inside 4th block. That watchman also was not able to identify. He went inside the room and locked. And people told that a thief has come. He is locking inside and sitting. We have to beat him. Everybody brought a stick or something to beat him. Many watchmen are waiting outside. They asked me whether they can break the door and open and beat him. But I did not allow them immediately. I wanted to see through the top window. In that we can open and see. I saw it was only a old student. He is not a thief. Then I talked with him. He told when the watchman was asking me, he was asking very roughly. Therefore, I wanted to avoid him. I was in a hurry to go to an interview. I was running away and coming. I have interview in the afternoon. That is why I was running and coming like that. He explained. Then I explained to the people that this anomaly behavior is due to his hurriness, not a real thief. But many times we identified the thieves through the behaviors. once in the department, computer science department, yeah, outsider came, he made an identity card and came inside the lab, but the person he is sitting outside the lab, he was able to identify the behavior since he was searching through every bag instead of keeping his bag. Immediately he called me and I identified him as a anomalous person. I found that he is not from our class. I asked, where are you? Then he told he is from IIT finally. We took him to the dean and dean found that he is a drug addict living in IIT campus. In this way, the anomaly behavior is used to identify a normal person, a new person from normal persons. In intrusion detection systems, we do like that only, but we are training the data for hours together. If you make an attack for 15 minutes duration, you have to train the system for 5 to 6 hours duration, then only the accuracy is improving. With the deep learning algorithms, if you are training, suppose you are training for 1 day, 2 day and all, you are getting good accuracy, more amount of data you have to take, more layer of, more hidden layers you have to use in the CNN or whatever deep learning algorithm you are using. That is why the intrusion detection systems built with deep learning algorithms are providing more amount of accuracy, but it takes more time also. If you bring quantum computing, then it will be able to do very fast searching, fast processing, etc. It can find the patterns very easily. Quantum computers, the same set of ideas only we want to say, but with a parallel computer, how it will be doing, and with a cloud computing, how it will be doing. So parallel computers are having a number of processors instead of single processor. We are writing a parallel algorithm. After parallel algorithm, we went to in distributed database means distributed access plan we are writing for accessing the data fast. Similarly, in a cloud computing, we are going for MapReduce algorithm. With MapReduce algorithm, we are doing the fast search. But the ideas data sets, if you want to analyze, then even with MapReduce, it takes more amount of time. So quantum computers will be able to do fast processing. Security analysis with the quantum computers must be able to give a record, very good record, and any machine learning algorithm needs human intervention first. That is why supervised learning algorithms are providing better results. But with the unsupervised learning algorithms, also sometimes we are getting good results. In the deep learning algorithms, we are giving labels, but we are running them without human intervention. With human intervention, if you are running, then it is providing very much better results. In natural language processing also, very good semantic analysis techniques are available. With the semantic analysis, you can tie the breaks. Semantic analysis, I will give the example between syntax and semantics. Syntax means grammar rules. 2 and 2 makes 4 is syntactically correct and semantically correct. 2 and 2 makes 5, it is grammatically correct, but semantically, meaningfully it is wrong. When you do semantic analysis in natural language, it is able to do many security analysis. Not only security analysis, when you do recommendation systems or any other application building, natural language analysis are very much useful. But if you are doing for a domain only, it is working. All natural language processing systems are working for a domain. I will give an example. Table, when you say, we have multiplication table, we have database table, we have the table used by a teacher in the classroom. Which table is used in this application? That is not known. But if you take a domain of database, then it is database tables only. If you take the domain of school children, it is multiplication table. Like this, domain dependent data is only working with natural language processing and AI systems. But people are working on generalizing it. For generalizing, we have to go for more and more rules, more and more data set. That can be done only through large processing ability, which can be provided through quantum computing. In the machine learning, we have the tasks of knowledge representation, recursion, classification, clustering, etc. We have learning starting with rote learning, that is by-hearting and storing. Stored information is only equivalent to rote learning. And the transfer of learning, when you learn cycling, that learning experience can be transferred to learning bike or two-wheeler. That two-wheeler learning, if you know how to use the clutch, brake, accelerator, etc., that can be used to learn car driving. That is only transfer of learning. Learning by taking advice, you have to consult with an expert so that you can learn better. In medical diagnosis, if you are writing a medical diagnosis system, you can learn by taking advice. Learning by analogy, that is by comparison. Suppose you want to teach about ball to a child, you can teach about cricket ball, football, basketball, like that. Different balls when you use, you can make them to make comparisons so that they will be able to learn from one ball to another ball. For this, algorithms are available in machine learning. Some applications of machine learning include image processing, natural language processing, medical diagnosis. In that, we have recursion. Recursion starts with fitting a linear curve of the form y equal to mx plus c. Here, x is a dependent variable and y is a dependent variable, x is independent variable. When you give values of x, based on x value, you can compute the value of y. The slope is nothing but the y-intercept. Slope is nothing but the dy by dx value or y coordinate divided by x coordinate, and you can find the y-intercept by putting x equal to 0. You can find the c value by putting x equal to 0, y equal to 0. Like that, some combinations you can give for x and y. You can find c value, m value, and so on. With line equation, you can do linear regression. One example of linear regression is supported term machine. In the supported term machine, you have to classify the data items either as dark spots or spots, unfilled spots. You can draw a line for the equation y equal to wx plus b, or f of x comma w comma b. Here, the sign will be either positive or negative. Greater than means it goes to the dark spot, less than it comes to the white spot, that is unfilled spot. You can draw more than one line. When it is possible to draw more than one line, which is the correct line, we don't know. Therefore, we have to go for supported term machines, in which margin will be taken, and we will decide on whether to push the points available on the margin to the left or right. That problem will be solved by supported term machine. We have probabilistic models like Bayesian classification, neural network. They are used for most of the machine learning algorithms. They will be using two-stage method. One is called feature selection method. In the feature selection method, you take the data set, you do the dimension reduction. Dimension reduction means reduce the number of features or reduce the number of rows. If you reduce the number of rows, number of columns, etc., then only the columns or attributes which are most contributing will be selected. That will be useful to the given to the classifier for classifying, so that you can decrease the classification time, increasing the classification accuracy, etc. And we can, right now people are going for deep learning. Now in the AI, people are working on quantum AI. In that, some groups are working on quantum expert systems, quantum rule-based systems, quantum learning, quantum neural network, etc. They are developing a package called quantum machine learning package using quantum TensorFlow. We have a TensorFlow package for we say that TensorFlow Quantum. It is called TFQ. It is an open source library which will be providing machine learning algorithms with quantum computing versions, starting from neural network all type of algorithms are available. Some code is written using Python. Now using that Python code, they do the classification. In that, first you have to prepare the quantum data set. After preparing the quantum data set, you have to execute on the quantum computer. Now, suppose you are writing a program for classification using quantum neural network, it will be executed in a quantum TensorFlow package. For this, you have to prepare a CIRQ. The CIRQ is a Python software library. It is used for writing and manipulating quantum circuits and then running that quantum circuits on the quantum computers using the quantum simulators. By doing this, you will be able to do classification. You can do averaging, and you can compare the results with the conventional neural network model. You can have cost functions, activation functions, etc., gradients. You are having solutions for quantum search algorithms, like you can solve the problems like Mercenaries and Cannibals problem, Waterjet problem, game playing, that is Minimax algorithm, traveling salesman problem, 8 puzzle, 8 queens problem. Such algorithms can be solved with the quantum computing. I'll be showing one algorithm only for example alone. I'm going to talk about quantum k-means clustering algorithm. In the quantum k-means clustering algorithm, they don't call it as quantum k-means algorithm. They say it is q-means, since it is quantum computing version. The step number 1 is they starting in a quantum superposition of all vectors in the data set and compute simultaneously all distances. You see, they take k centroids, but they are not computing the distances using the distance formula separately. In normal k-means clustering algorithm, you will be sequentially computing the distances, but here all centroids are given to a quantum computer. The quantum computer is using k centroids and finding the distances from the centroids to all the points available in the clusters. Then after that, it will change the cluster center. Like that, it will be proceeding up to the time the k values are, that is the centroids are not changing. This is the quantum version. Similarly, you can use quantum matrix multiplication like this. All the mathematical operations are done with the quantum operations. When they do the quantum retrieval and repeat the process until the k new centroids are not changing, from the previous iteration to the current iteration, if you see the same centroid is coming again and again, means you can stop the k-means algorithm, but it is quantum k-means algorithm. Therefore, you need not have a low key value. When you go for k-means clustering algorithm with the normal k, you may be trying with k equal to 5, k equal to 10, etc. But here k equal to 1000, lakhs, like that, you can give larger values, it will work very well. For security, you can go for IDS with the quantum algorithms. You can do fast clustering and classification with the quantum k-means and the quantum neural networks, etc. You can do association rule mining, sequential pattern matching, temporal reasoning, spatial reasoning, key computation, everything with the whatever is necessary for security, all that things you can do with the quantum machine learning. Nowadays, machine learning is used for doing the security, enhancing the performance of security algorithm. Now people are converting that into quantum machine learning versions. Now I want to conclude the talk with I have discussed about the use of cryptanalysis and intrusion reduction systems, and the discrete logarithm problem will be done handled very easily with the quantum computers, and the AI search algorithms, swarm intelligence, machine learning algorithms are handled very easily, including quantum neural network and the quantum k-means algorithm are also done very easily with the quantum computers. This is what I wanted to conclude. Now I am giving time for interaction,